Hey guys, this is Rick coming at you with Weed to No Basis, the podcast for all things cannabis business related. Are you an entrepreneur? Have something you wanted to create, something you wanted to bring to life in the cannabis industry? Maybe you've always wanted to partake in one of the biggest industries in modern day history. This is the podcast to listen to.
All right, so we're recording now. We are live. We're live, folks. And for those of you who are listening in and you can't see us, make sure to head over to our YouTube channel or WeedTube. Yes, I said WeedTube. It's not our invention, but it's super cool. So you can actually watch the interview live. And today we have on Weed to No Basis, Chef Jazz, Jasmine Moore, but I'm going to call her Jazz because I kind of like the way it sounds. And remember, guys, as you're listening, I want you to think about your mindset as a cannabis startup, as an entrepreneur in the industry, and really absorb what we're going to talk about. And it's going to be fun. But remember, if you're here, if you're listening, it's because you are on a Weed to No Basis. Chef Jazz, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Nice. So these are very conversational. It's kind of fun. And, you know, we will take these kind of dives into your business and what you do and how the problem you solve and what are you doing and kind of the exciting stuff. But you're in Washington, D.C. Is that home for you?
Yes, that's home for me. I was actually born in Denver, Colorado. And then I did all of my raising on the East Coast.
Born in Denver. So if I look down, it's because I take a lot of notes. So I'm writing down. Interesting. So you were born in Denver, arguably the mecca of marijuana.
I was born to do this. That's what I say.
Awesome. I was born to do this. Now we met. So interesting thing about the interviewees and people that I have the privilege of speaking to is I like to make this clear to our audience, you know, because one of the phrases, and I want to think that you believe it as well, is your network is your net worth. And you and I met as part of a mastermind group that we're both members of for cannabis entrepreneurs. And to that point, like, how long have you been a member of different mastermind groups?
So this is my first one in the cannabis industry, but I'm always about community. I use that segment all the time, you know, your net worth is worth your network as well, you know. So I always reach out to my community and I like to springboard things off of peers. Before I even started Green Panther Chef, I really just talked to my friends and said, hey, is this a viable idea? You know?
Nice. I'm going to go back to some of those things you're sharing, Jazz. Viable idea, because these concepts are critical, pivotal especially for the nascent or early stage cannabis entrepreneur. So let's get back to Green Panther Chef, or let's get to that part. That's what you do. Actually, let me give you the mic for a sec. Tell us how you serve the cannabis industry. What is your business?
Okay, so my background, I'm a chef. I graduated in 2006. My company is Green Panther Chef. And what we are a full service cannabis catering company. So we do everything from entertainment to educate people around the fundamentals to introduce cannabis into their life, as I say, for health and happiness.
Nice. So not just my words, not yours. Like I have a healthy respect for chefs. So if I use words like cook or things like that, please don't take it the wrong way.
Okay. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. So Green Panther Chef, you graduated in 2006. So you've been a chef for well over 10 years. Yes. And you do catering, education, and something you mentioned on your intake form, I got to point this out, is you travel the U.S. for private events. So you actually do this on the road?
Yes. So it's part of the gig, you know, being a chef as well and being so new in this industry. You really have to put your thinking cap on when you're entering a new industry, and what skills can you actually add to the market. And so right now I travel with a lot of clients. I actually was in upstate New York last week, and it was just a private chef event. But if they found me on the internet and was like, hey, we love what you do, you know? So just putting out those good vibes as well.
Nice. And are those, I'm just randomly curious, are those events, for instance, the one you just went to, are those necessarily cannabis, when you prepare food like on the road, is this infused or can it be non-infused as well?
It can be non-infused, but most of the time people hire me because it is infused.
Gotcha.
So we do offer those options, yeah.
Okay, and for the audience's sake, just to be clear, so with Chef Jazz, we are potentially talking about CBD, hemp, and marijuana. You live in a part of the country where it's legal right now.
Yes, yes. And when we use it interchangeably too. So CBD, we also infuse foods with that, and then cannabis as well.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I just want to make those distinctions for the audience because I'm in Texas. We're actually recording this. You're in my. This is our studio / my home office. So we're pretty grassroots here. Like this, we talked a little bit prior to, but this goes. We have a 2-man show. It's me and our producer. So this goes to our producer, and that's it. We record record at home. He does his magic wherever he does it, and
Yes.
that's We To Know Basis. So. What got you into cooking, or what got you into that 2006? Like, what was it? Was there what fired that up in you?
So I'll start a little bit back a little bit. My mom has been a restaurateur my whole entire life. So I have traveled with her. I've actually went to 9 different elementary schools. So I am like a nomad. So being a part of the traveling chef, I absolutely love it. So I actually started cooking with cannabis around 2000, the end of 2006, because I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease. And so as soon as I graduated, about 7 months later, I knew something was wrong, but I finally got the diagnosis. So I was on 5 medications. After I was on the 5 medications, I still dropped down to 84 pounds. So I lost around 24 pounds in a course of 8 months. And so just out of sheer desperation, I started cooking with cannabis. And so right now, a lot of people were like, hey, Jasmine, you're actually vertical again. You actually can go out on a Friday night. What are you doing? So I'm like, hey, I'm infusing my meals with cannabis. It seems fun to a lot of people. And so that's why we started Green Panther Chef. But we also have an educational side as well.
Nice. And I think you have a YouTube channel.
Yeah, we have a blog that has so much stuff. I'm actually migrating it onto YouTube. So it's half on my blog on Green Panther Chef and then half on YouTube.
Nice. Okay. So you've taken basically the cooking, the art of cooking or of creation, and you've weaved the cannabis industry into the business, and you've then segued it into education, and you now have a blog and a video channel on YouTube where you create videos. I think I saw something of you, maybe it was live cooking. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. I teach people, we'd like to post up at least once a week, just education videos around like how, when you leave out of the dispensary, what do you do with that plant if you choose to infuse it into your food?
Nice. So is it a part of your day, like your daily routine? And I mean you personally, not your clients. So, okay.
Yeah, definitely. I microdose throughout the day.
Gotcha. And that is because of the Crohn's disease.
Yeah, because of Crohn's disease. I'm no longer on medication. So it's really food and diet. I normally start with, I had a blog about this, a fresh juice in the morning. I'll either put cannabis leaves or I'll have just turmeric in that, or maybe CBD, a little bit of CBD oil. And then I'll have a lunch, and that's more so like a roasted vegetable. I'll have a dressing or something and go over top of it. And then in the evenings, I'll do something a little bit more heavy. So I tend not to exceed anything around like 2.5 THC. And around 5 milligrams of CBD. So it's very low throughout the day.
Gotcha. And sometimes I'll ask these questions, especially around healthcare. My background is I'm still a nurse. I haven't practiced in a long time, but so when people mention things like Crohn's disease or they've had certain afflictions or things go on, it just the nurse in me comes out. That's why yes. Sometimes I'll ask because I know that there are nurses who are in the industry who listen. They're thinking, how do I segue what I know into the industry? Which brings me to my next point, because on one of our prior episodes, so not all of our episodes are interviews with cannabis entrepreneurs like yourself, Jazz. Some of them are informational, where it's just we're talking about a topic, and one of them we talked about is, generally speaking, when people think about the industry or getting in as an entrepreneur, they think about growing or selling. And it's a very myopic view, nothing wrong with it, but there's so much more, like what you're doing. You're a chef and you've applied your talent and skills to the industry. So I want to point that out for our listeners is is that take note what Jazz did. She didn't decide to go be a grower or a retail operator. She took what, my words, not yours, what you're an expert at, what you love to do, and you've monetized it in the industry that has helped you.
Exactly. And I know a lot of my peers, that's what I encourage them to do. A lot of people are interested in the cannabis industry. They're like, oh, this is the green rush. Oh, this is the time to make whatever, you know. So these are these people's personal opinions. But I feel that when you add value and you're passionate about what you do, you necessarily don't have to be a cultivator or a processor or a dispensary owner. You know, you can actually apply your skills as an accountant, you know, or as a nurse, just to the cannabis industry.
Interesting. It truly is a wide open green playing field right now.
It's huge. It's huge. It's really just putting your stake in the ground and just going after it.
I love it. I got to write that down.
It really is.
Putting your stake in the ground. That's true. It literally is. Wherever we thought in the past about whatever we thought about business and startups, it literally is, it's brand spanking new ground right now. Like anything, I love that. Yeah, putting your stake in the ground, and it's so true. So when did Green Panther actually start? So you've been a chef since 2006. When did this business launch?
So in December 2016, I thought about it. And so we actually got our LLC in February of 2017. So before that, we were Jazz to Cater. So I used to do it kind of under the covers just a little bit, but to actually formalize the business after Initiative 71, and that passed in Washington, D.C., that was when I was like, you know what, this could actually be a viable business.
Gotcha. So as soon as Initiative 71 passed, you already had an LLC, you had a corporate structure set up. You decided to take Jazz the Caterer and create Green Panther Chef, which is, so basically you infused your business.
Yeah. I merged it all together.
Nice.
I rebranded.
Were at that time, before Initiative 71, were you eyeballing the initiative, waiting for it to happen, or did you just wake up one day and say, oh, look what just happened?
You know what? I really wasn't thinking about it, to tell you the truth. And a friend of mine came to me and it was like, Jasmine, you're already infusing your meals. You already have like a network of people you can tap into. Why don't you help more people? It never crossed my mind. And then I was like, you know what? You're right. And so that's when we rebranded. Green Panther Chef came alive, and I just streamlined a lot of my processes in order so we could scale it quicker.
Gotcha. Streamline processes. I love this. I know I'm repetitive. I'm a broken record, but I love writing down buzzwords that have a very distinct entrepreneurial kind of sound. Mm-hmm. So then launched Green Panther, and you launched as you don't have a restaurant. You do strictly catering. So how do you get the message out around Green Panther? Because we all know it's a challenge right now, marketing, and we can consider your business a plant touching business, and there's challenges. How do you let the world know about you?
Definitely. So that is a big challenge. Your relationships, like you touched on, your network really equals your network. So reaching out to your community, one, doing a lot of vendor events, doing networking events, because right now we can't promote on Facebook. So it really is going back to the basics, opening up your black book, going to the networking events and beating the pavement. That's what it really, and building out your email marketing. We have an extensive list of people who we can just tap into, because we've made those connections through just a lot of work, through events, through networking. Yeah.
Love it. You said email marketing, and about 3 weeks ago, we had a guest on, and she's a good friend of mine, lives in the Bronx, and she's an email marketing expert, and she works with CBD companies. And I love that specific. So vendors, network, those are things we can all tap into. And email marketing is one of the most underutilized tools at a cannabis entrepreneur's disposal. And for a lot of reasons. And I'm sure you grasp it. One, you get to send your message to people who have agreed to they've opted in. They want to hear from you. But two, the list that we build becomes an asset to our business. So I love that. I had to highlight those three things. Those are three big takeaways, right from the get-go. Vendor events, networking events, email marketing. Love that. So do you have like a newsletter? Is that what you do with your email marketing?
Yeah, definitely do a newsletter, and then keeping your content fresh on your blogs, looking at SEOs so you are searchable as well. I work with this company here, and they plug a lot of or relate our content to SEO optimization as well. So that's another way where you can rank inside of your search engines. So just making sure that your content aligns with what's trending, so you can be searchable, and keeping your content fresh, at least post once or twice a week as well.
Gotcha. Okay. So I'm going to wind back a little bit because I want to kind of pull the threads out of your Green Panther Chef journey. So 2006, you became a chef. About 2016, the end of that year, the idea was for Green Panther Chef, you formed your LLC in early 2017. So about 2 years ago. And that's when Jazz the Caterer became Green Panther Chef. So far, so good?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes, you got it.
So after you became Green Panther Chef, let's say you put on your green superpower suit, and I'm literally envisioning that. You opened up your cape, and there was Chef Jazz, the Green Panther Chef. So you became Green Panther Chef. What did clients and folks just suddenly rush into your door and said, "I can't wait to finally here," and line up outside the door for infused food?
No. Absolutely not. You always hear the things like you'll build it and they'll come, right? And so, no, that wasn't the case. I actually lost a few clients as well. They were just like, okay, well, we like that you were doing this on a smaller scale, but now your prices have gone up. Now there's actual policies, and just people didn't want that, when you actually want to start formalizing your business. So what it really did come down to was tapping back into my network and really getting into my peers and knowing what people wanted.
Nice. Okay, so then the whole build it and they will come, I think we're in agreement. It's a lie. It's a farce.
It does not happen. I really had to go back to the basics because we started as a meal prep company. I was like, okay, so we can do meal prep. And I don't know if you're familiar, but on Instagram, they have like these Instagram chefs is what they call them. And so they'll make food, they'll prepare it, and then you meet at their location to purchase the food, or they'll pre-order the food. So I was thinking about a business model along that lines, right? That didn't work out. So I built all of this and all of my marketing material around being a meal prep company around cannabis. And people were just like, why would I want that? What's the necessity? I don't want to be high all the time. So that's when we started to educate people around, all right, that you can actually take out this, whatever's in your diet, if you just add cannabis, And so that's when the full service cannabis catering, it was just a lot of trial and error because we built something and actually no one really wanted that aspect of it. We just had to do a little bit more mining.
Gotcha. I love that. I want the listeners or the viewers to take note is that I like to recap some things. So vendor events, networking, email marketing, your network is your net worth, build it and they will come is a lie. And going back to the fundamentals, I love that. And that's the second time I've heard that in the last 24 hours and probably the third time actually. And we're going to be doing an episode on how Tiger Woods got his mojo back. And here's the thing and the reason why I love what you said about fundamentals is because, Tiger Woods has made a big comeback. Love him or hate him. That's just the example. He had a fall from grace and he became just no longer just a regular guy. And when he fixed his mindset, he came back practicing fundamentals. He didn't have a shinier golf club. He didn't have a cool new shirt. He went back to the basics. And those lessons apply to entrepreneurs as well. The fundamentals will never steer you wrong. So you launched it. They didn't line up at your door. About how long did it take for you to kind of get traction, if you will?
About 6 months.
Okay.
Until I was able to really tap into people and know what my users wanted. I was talking to someone totally different. Now I revisit probably every 3 months. Are we being clear with that? Are we talking to that same woman, you know, or man, whoever, how your customer looks, you know? And so once I identified who my customer was, my language, it got easier to create content. It got easier to think of new recipes, you know, because I was creating it for that person. And so as soon as that language got tweaked, yeah, people were like, oh, this is me. I can see me in your copy, in your marketing message, you know? And so that's when people started to come to Green Panther.
Nice. So you firmly described or got in tune with your avatar, your ideal client.
Yeah. Her name is Terry. Yeah.
Oh my God. I love that. Whenever I work with folks, and even myself, I tell them, I said, describe your ideal client and name him or her. Give them a name. So tell us about Terry. I love this. Keep going.
So Terry is definitely, she's a social professional. She definitely is innovative. She is married. She has 1 child. Her child normally has some type of medical condition. And so that's why she's interested in using cannabis. She has a great network of girlfriends. She loves to go out and drink, or not drink, or party with her girls. And her husband is in a musician band. So they have the good aspect of professionalism as well as the spicy side, is what I say.
That is, you guys listening or watching, you need to take note of that. That's music to my ears. And I say that with all due respect and love to you, Jazz, because, you know, one of the things we do at Weed to Know, you know, our other business is we run a cannabis accelerator program. And part of our fundamental lessons is understand your avatar's pain better than they understand their pain. And you just basically said, and we didn't talk about this prior. That's why I love this. You described her, and I even love it. The way you describe how she's professional and spicy.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
There's going to be women who listen to this, and they're going to be like, I need to go get some of. I need to get some Jazz magic, you know, sent out to me. And so, is it all local? Is everything you do there local in the DC area?
So our product line, we do have that's infused with CBD, so that can be sold across the nation. But like I said, we do travel. So you can get our services, just book, and yeah, we'll be there.
Nice. So so you do have a product line that you can ship across from the district across the US.
Yes, it's a conscious condiment line, is what I say. It has no artificial ingredients. It has no preservatives. It's infused with 125 milligrams of CBD, of roundabout, and it has 7 ingredients or less.
That's cool. Describe to me. So like if I was to order something from your conscious condiment line, what would I expect to receive?
So most of the things that you'll see on the everyday grocery shelf. So you have mustard, you can have mayonnaises, we have hot sauces and pestos as well. I'm looking to build out salad dressings, spices, and teas in the future, but that comes with testing and bandwidth time.
Gotcha. That's very cool. I mean, let me turn off my phone here. It's making noises. So the conscious condiment line. So all the things I'm literally thinking about what's in my fridge, I can basically replace that with this line, and it's the same stuff, just has some CBD goodness infused into it.
And it does not have any of the artificial ingredients that actually disrupt our gut lining. Because remember, I am a Crohn's survivor as well. And so everything that I put into my body, it has to just maintain my gut balance. And then I always touch on the point that over 74% of Americans have some type of gastrointestinal issue they do not know. So if you just remove like certain little things, like the artificial ingredients, the white flour, the sugar, and replace it with something that tastes just as good, this is what you get.
Very cool. So you're approaching Green Panther and Jazz and what you do from not just this holistic standpoint, but from a professional chef standpoint, and also from a health and wellness because of something you have lived through.
Yes. Exactly.
That's a trifecta right there. That is.
Thank you. It's a labor of love. It definitely is. You have to love what you do. That's for sure. And I do love it.
Is that what, So let's not make any bones about it. There are other cannabis chefs out there. Would you consider those, that trifecta, are those things that maybe separates you from everybody else or gives you a distinction?
Absolutely. No hesitation. Absolutely. I have
Nice.
met maybe a few business owners who got into the cannabis industry, and they're either processors, cultivators, dispensary owners, but I have yet to meet a chef on the East Coast, so I'm definitely open. Let's collab. Yeah.
Nice. Let's collab. Take note of that, guys. Your network is your net worth. And
Yes.
that's how we connected. We connected through a mutual friend, and I'm loving it. I'm picking up what you're putting down. I'm digging this. And plus I just love to eat. I just love food.
Me too. Me too.
I've been to some, my wife and I have been to some infused events, and I'll leave it right there. But it's I just love to eat. I'm by no means a culinary artist, but I will say that when it's done the right way, if you will, you don't taste weed or you don't taste the plant.
Exactly.
So is that, no, go ahead.
No, that's the main thing. A lot of people steer away. We have a few clients that steer away from cooking with cannabis because they don't want their mouth to taste like grass. So there are definitely ways that you can minimize that as well, and so we teach different extraction methods, how you can use a distillate, that has like a minimal taste, or if you do want the whole flower, how you can extract it in a way that you don't have that weedy taste.
Nice. Yeah, I definitely, whenever I've used any kind of CBD product to cook, it usually comes in the form of a butter or an oil. It's already been blended in there. And I do have a friend though, random, and I don't know exactly how, but I guess she decarboxylates the raw product in her, and I'm not going to tell you where I am or anything else, but in her oven. And I guess that's another way to get it prepared, get it ready to be, that's where it gets
definitely decarbon in the oven. I mean, you can make a fabulous meal with everything that you have in your house. You just have to know how to plug and play. So decarbing at certain temperatures, I like to play with a range around 220 to 320 because I'm looking at certain terpenes, or I'm trying to reserve certain cannabinoid content. So just knowing those certain things when you're applying it to your diet, it's the way to go.
Apply it to your diet. You're just full of a bunch of awesome
one-liners. Those fingers, right?
Yes, those are awesome. I'm writing them down.
Let me close this window here 1 second.
Go for it. Apply it to your diet. Guys, before Jazz gets back, I just got to tell you that this is the beauty of the cannabis startup world. It's never as easy as we think, and it takes time to get traction. Yeah. So I was just having a quick one-on-one with the audience while you went to go close the window. So you live in DC proper, in the district?
Yes, in the district. That's why it's so loud. Excuse me.
No, I couldn't hear anything, honestly.
Okay, good.
But no, I used to. So DC is one of my most favorite cities in the world. I used to live on 12th and Mass downtown, long time ago. I was at Walter Reed, the old Walter Reed. I was stationed there. So way
that's
back.
Not too far. It's like 15 minutes away from here.
Yeah, and that's why when you say the district, it literally is like a little diamond. It's a little square.
That's it.
Yeah. But I lived in the district and I loved it. I love living in downtown DC. And then I spent the second half of my tour as an Army nurse. I was in Northern Virginia, in Old Town.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
I like Virginia as well. It's kind of removed. It's so different. That's what I love about DC. Yeah, totally different vibes.
Oh yeah, DC it's a way different vibe. It's like it is. You just got to experience it. And I don't mean like in my experience, at least not DC where you see the usual, the cherry blossom in the White House, but where you actually live and you're there and in the energy.
Going to Union Market, grabbing mussels, all of that good stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very cool. So what's next? Like if you think of the next 12 months of Green Panther, of what you're doing, what's the big goal? Like what's the thing you want to accomplish in your business as an entrepreneur?
I want to touch as many people as possible. I have a goal of at least 100,000 people by next year. I know that is super ambitious. And so the way that I see that being done, because I'm one person, I have another chef that we work with as well. but getting online. And so really building out the educational courses online. So if you don't have access to me to do a cooking class, you can see that online as well. So really touching people, enough people, so we can have that critical mass, so we can start shifting the pendulum back the other way. Far too many people are just laying on the needle and settling with less, you know, and when it comes back to the basics, it's like a few minor tweaks, you can have like massive change in your life. And so just pointing that out to people.
Nice. So you're the metric, and I'll restate that. So to touch 100,000 people by, I'm just going to say 2020, just for the sake of the conversation.
2020. It's on my board. Yes.
100K by 2020. And this is where I like to kind of leave some nuggets for the startup, the folks who are thinking about it. So what Jazz just described is a goal or a metric, and it's kind of in a smart way or an armed way where it's actionable, it's realistic, it's measurable, and it's dated. 100,000 to have touched 100,000 people, and I'm looking at my notes, by 2020. How will you measure that? Like, how will you know your goal is on track?
Definitely by the number of enrollees that we have for our programs. That's the number. How many people are we touching online on a daily basis? How many people are clicking through on those emails, sharing that information, and then as well referrals around this one program that we're creating, which is the culinary CBD course, which is completely online.
Gotcha. So you have the goal, the pinnacle for next year, 100,000 to touch 100,000 people by 2020. You measure that by the number of enrollees and however you define that. And your ways to get there, the verticals, are through your cooking classes, through your YouTube channels, through your email list. So, and I'm breaking that out so the folks can understand it, is the goal is the goal. And then you have to have a metric, a way to measure it, that you're either green or red or stagnant. And then below that is the action items or the strategies that you're going to execute to feed up into that. Exactly. So I gotta say, I just love it. I love it. That's the beauty of an entrepreneur. These are, and I say this with respect again, Jazz, who has their shit together. Excuse my language, but because so many times, and I imagine you've experienced it, is because of the whole green rush, people are just flooding in with no sense of, you know, what am I doing? It's they're flooding in for the quick land grab, thinking about tomorrow. And when I listen to entrepreneurs who have goals and metrics and plans of attack, strategies, if you will, those are the ones, in my opinion, who are thinking for the next 100 years.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. That's how I see it.
Love it. Dang, I love it. So, and I wanted to also share with the audience is you are, as we speak, in between gigs right now.
Yes, I am. Yes. I'm actually on my way to another job. Right
yep. Now. And I have my timer going, so we're going to wrap up here. We've been on for about 30 minutes, but I love it. So, Chef Jazz, where can people find you? Like in the real world or Instagram, whatever you want. Where can they find you?
The best way is at greenpantherchef.com. Or if you want to send an email at info@greenpantherchef.com. All of our information is right there. Everywhere on social media, greenpantherchef.com, Green Panther Chef as well. So nice. Yeah, just check us out.
Where did the name come from?
And so this is a great question. I love Panthers and I love green as far as from the sustainability standpoint. And then also my background being a chef. And so Panthers have always been hidden in the shadows. And so that's how I look at this industry. And so when I was thinking about it, I was like, sustainable chef isn't like the best way to put it. And so for my love of Panthers, for my love of sustainability and helping people, Green Panther Chef. And I just love the ring of it too.
It is. It honestly, it has kind of a superhero ring to it.
Yeah, so. Exactly.
Nice. What's the most popular dish, and then what's your favorite infused dish?
Oh, definitely. So pasta puttanesca. We do a seafood pasta puttanesca, where we have fresh pasta that we make. People absolutely love that. Creme brulee, if you're looking at desserts. I love salad. I actually did a blog about this not too long ago, but things that are like really good hearty salads. I love a good niçoise as well, with fresh tuna, green beans, Yukon potatoes that are boiled in a little bud broth. Oh, it's amazing with a little lemon vinaigrette. So That's my
Yeah.
go-to.
You're making me hungry now. Now I wish I was in DC right now. I wish I was at your next gig right now, waiting for you to show up. I'd have a fork and a knife in my hand, saying, "Where's Jazz? Where's Jazz?"
I love it. Next time when I'm in Texas, for sure.
we may have to get you down here to Texas just so I can taste all of that stuff you just described.
I love it.
So you never know. Like, and again, no judgment, but what I heard was like tantalizing. It wasn't like, oh, we have an infused meatloaf, or you know what I mean, or a chef's salad. Something you describe, a niçoise and creme brulee. And
we're gonna lay it out. It's all about, our tagline is creating an edible experience. So yeah, it's definitely all about that.
That's
Tantalizing,
too cool.
all of the taste buds and senses.
That's too cool. Jazz, I really, really appreciate you coming on. I really, I'm just so, I don't use this word much, but so tickled at what you're doing in one of my favorite cities in the US, in the world, honestly, and even more so that you took this time in between gigs. I'm super grateful, not only myself and to our listeners, but that is a definition of hustle, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Greg. I had a great time.
Nice. So don't forget, y'all, you can find her. It's Green Panther Chef, Chef Jazz, Jazz, Instagram at Green Panther Chef. We're also going to put, if you're on WeedTube or YouTube, you'll find her information below. You can just click on it. Otherwise, guys, remember, if you're watching this, it's because you two are on a Weed to Know basis. Glad you guys joined us. Have an awesome rest of the day. Peace out.